Hello, welcome back to Master Rat's channel. Today is the start of something new. Stories or podcast or story podcast. This one's about Ben 10. So I hope you all enjoy it. Maybe I can get popular after this, I don't know. Anyways, let's start our story. So, mind the background noise. Sorry. Whatever. Anyway, here we go. The null void opens. As Vilgax stands there, menacingly, he looks at Tennyson and yells, "This is not over." So Vilgax disappears into the null void. Ben Tennyson looks at him and says, "Goodbye." "Goodbye, Vilgax." Ben soon turns into Accelerate and runs off. As he disappears, he goes to his room. He's got an apartment now, or an apartment room. Single bathroom, one bed, a small little kitchen. Relaxing, chilling in his bed, when all of a sudden he hears pipes creaking. Here's running water. Before out of his walls pops a mysterious alien with a trident. It turns to him and tells him, "Tennyson, I will flood the earth, but must get rid of you first." He looks at the alien, looking almost exactly like Ripjaws, except for beady white eyes and purple skin with orange stripes. He throws his trident at Ben. Ben dodges. As Ben gets ready to yell, he yells out, "Time for a little bit of swamp fire." Presses the Omnitrix, only to appear as a new alien. This alien is pure purple, with green armor. And instead of hands, it's got shields. A blue shield with green accents. Ben is confused. No flames? No vines? This ain't swamp fire. The menacing Whipjaws looks at him. "I don't care what you are. You are in my way." As he throws his trident, Ben in his new alien form blocks it. As he looks at his hands and says, "I might call this one defense." He turns around and attacks, but with only shields for hands, not really attacking. The evil Whipjaws prepares to stab at him, but he continues to block, before being thrown out of his apartment room and falling onto the road outside. "Man, good defensive alien, terrible attacker," Ben says. Down comes the evil Whipjaws with his trident, beginning to strike him again, and again, and again. Ben, as defense, blocks every single one of his attacks before being hit in the chest with a trident. Ben falls to the ground as the Omnitrix times out. Soon, this evil Whipjaws holds his trident above Ben's head. Ben manages to dodge and escape. Ben looks at him as he begins to pound the ground with his trident, creating a cave-in. They fall into a small cave. Ben falls on his back as the evil Whipjaws lands on his feet. Ben looks at him and yells, "Alright, since we're underground, how about I bury you?" He presses the Omnitrix again. This time, Armadillo pops out. An armadillo alien with yellow armor and small little hands. He turns these hands into drills and proceeds to battle this evil Whipjaws. As he pummels him, he ends up fighting him until he gets back onto the surface. Once on the surface, the evil Whipjaws throws his trident, only for Armadillo to block it and charge at him. The evil Whipjaws proceeds to bite Ben as Armadillo before they get into a fight near a pier. Once they get near a pier, Ben throws him into the water, and Ben turns back to normal. And he looks up at Ben and says, "Well, you're tougher than I thought." Before diving down, Ben tells him, "Yeah, no, you're not escaping," before turning into his version of Lipjaws, a pure greenish-white fish alien with an anglerfish light on its head, green eyes, sharp fangs. He jumps into the water, and his legs soon become a tail that's pure black with green accents. He searches the water before realizing he can no longer find him. Ben jumps back out and runs to his grandfather, who is halfway across the city. Once he gets there, he tells him, "Grandpa, I couldn't find him. Grandpa Max looks at him and says, Who couldn't you find?" He looks at him and describes the evil Lipjaws. It was like Lipjaws, but purple, with orange accents, white eyes, not like the one I turned into. This one was dark, evil. "I can't explain it, Grandpa, but something felt wrong. He said he was going to flood the earth." Grandpa Max holds him and says, "We'll figure this out together," as they walk off. Meanwhile, in the lake below, the evil Lipjaw's pounding a stone, saying, "Ben Tennyson was stronger than I thought. Next time, he won't get away so easily. Next time, I will drag him to hell." Soon it cuts to Ben and Grandpa are looking through an alien database before loading on one. Drunistor. Drunistor is an alien who floods planets in hopes to make the ultimate home. He was banished from his people for believing that their race was going extinct, and that he planned on flooding other planets. Ben looks at Grandpa Max and says, "Well, if he wants to flood the earth, he's going to have to get through me and the plumbers. And that won't be easy. Grandpa, we must find him." Max Tennyson looks at Ben and says, "You're right, Ben. But right now we have no leads on where he's at, or what his plan is. We do know he's going to flood the earth. But how is he going to do it? His species doesn't have hydrokinesis. We'll have to figure it out eventually." Gwen and Kevin walk in alongside of Wook, and they ask what is going on. Ben explains everything as they look at each other, and Kevin says, "Well, let's go get him." The end of episode 1.